Welcome to Hype episode 38. We're recording at just the right time this morning. 10 minutes before we started recording, we got our first look at the Sherlock Christmas special. Not for this Christmas, for next Christmas. Still a long ways away. And then right when we were about to hit the record button, Universal decided to release the first Jurassic World trailer 2 days before they were supposed to. So that's why we're starting a little late today. Anyway, Selena, Marima, Josh, who's working on the Jurassic World trailer post for the first season.
No one's supposed to know.
Shattering the illusion.
Multitasking.
We're all here to break it down today. Marima, of course, I don't know, are you in front of a green screen? Or
Yeah.
are you visiting Kyle's apartment?
Yeah. Casa de Kyle.
There's a lot of...
Kyle-like stuff.
Yeah, you can tell it's Kyle's because there's things everywhere.
Because it's very, very male.
Mm.
Don't conform to gender binaries.
Very gay?
Well, I mean, very Disney, anyway.
Very Disney.
Just be grateful you can't see what's happening on, like, this side of the apartment.
Okay.
I'll
count my blessings.
Mm-hmm.
So, as always, we are live on Google Hangouts. We usually record this on Thursdays, but we're recording Tuesday this week. And people who are watching live can use the Q&A button on within the Google event page to submit questions while we broadcast live, and we'll read them on the show. So, of course, we're going to talk today about Mockingjay Part 1 because it hit theaters this past Friday, and since Hypable has a big Mockingjay audience, we wanted to dedicate a good portion of today's show to the film. So, has everybody seen it here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. I surprised Marima by taking her to a screening last week. She was very excited.
I heard.
I literally jumped in the air. And then on top of Andrew. I'm not exaggerating.
Touching me, I got uncomfortable. I was like, this is...
Yeah, it was too much.
So, I thought it was a really good film. The reviews have been mixed, but in terms of a Part 1 movie, I thought it was great. So let's start with that. Was it a worthy Part 1 film? Was it a good Part 1 film?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why? Was it good? See, Marima, one thing that Marima said to me was that it had a good, coherent story.
It did.
It really did, and I think because it's funny because a lot of the criticism has been that not much happens in this film, and I don't think that's true. Like, obviously, this is coming from someone who's read the Mockingjay, and they know how much is gonna go down in the second one, but they made the first one really feel like a proper movie. It had a cliffhanger, sure, but it also had a beginning, middle, and an end. It had the search for Peter, and it had the discrepancy between Coin's agenda and Katniss's agenda, and I think it was really good. Honestly, and it took time to explore like the softer side of the story too.
Did you feel like Katniss had a journey at all, other than that she was dealing with PSD?
I don't think she did in the book either. Like that's my
See, I
main
didn't
issue
read
with the book.
Mockingjay. I stopped before that, so I think I know a lot of people will devalue my opinion based on the fact that I didn't read the book, but I just mean fans in general, and so I was like, Katniss really didn't go anywhere in this film, and even emotionally, she still is screwed up, maybe even more than she was, at the beginning.
And that's a running theme. But I think that's kind of actually
screwed up for the rest of the
and I think that's sort of the point of the really frustrated me about the book, and I don't know how the rest of you feel about it, is that Katniss is not in charge of the story at all. Katniss is being pushed by everyone else into the direction that they want her to go in, basically, and she doesn't have any say in what happens in the book, really. At least not in the first half, and I think that came across, and you felt the frustration that you felt reading the book of like, come on, Katniss, just do something huge and matter, but she doesn't, and that's very interesting, I think, and a really good angle.
The reason I liked this movie so much was that it took advantage of the extra time, taking things out of only Katniss's perspective. We got to see President Snow. There was that great moment when he hears about Katniss being in District 8, and he says bomb the hospital. Like that's something you didn't get in the book. And then same thing, of course, the biggest moment was when they broke into the Capitol to save PETA. That's something else that's not in the book. It's just glossed over in the book because the story is from Katniss's perspective. So it was understandable when Suzanne Collins wrote it, but it was just the perfect thing to be added to the movie. So I think that they really took advantage of expanding the story. There were still a couple things, though, that I didn't love. But first, let's talk about best scenes. Hanging Tree. That was up there.
Yeah. Definitely.
And that song now, whenever it like touches my mind, it's stuck in my head for another 3 hours.
Oh, it's so annoying.
You know what's annoying about that scene, though, at least in my cinema, because I watched it obviously in Denmark, and I think it's a little fun fact is that Danish people are very cynical and don't really have a lot of patience for like characters sort of breaking out into a cappella song no matter how emotional it is. So everybody was cracking up in my cinema. And I don't know if and she started singing and it went on and it felt like the scene. I liked the scene, but in the cinema it felt really uncomfortable because everyone was like, "Oh my god, when's she gonna stop? This is so embarrassing." It was really funny.
That did not happen in our screening. Everyone was like,
yeah,
like super emotional.
Interesting. Like I've seen it twice now, and I noticed this with all movies. Every theater is different with like the scenes that they laugh at. There's always like one or two things that everybody always laughs at, but there's always differences in how the theater reacts. And I did notice that in the two different I saw this in.
I loved what's her face, Coin. I think she was fantastic, like Julianne Moore. They put lenses in her eyes, which meant she always kind of looked a bit weird, but she was so good, and she was so much more sympathetic than in the book. And I really liked her.
That was a really good change, I thought.
Because that'll make for a bigger surprise in part 2, right?
Well, and also I think just in case, because the revolution and the people that are doing the revolution, it's such a big part of the movie because obviously in the book we're in Katniss's head and everyone's the enemy unless they're helping her search for PETA, but in the movie you're kind of like, you have to understand that she's right, Coin, in what she's saying. Not from Katniss's perspective, but you have to be able to see that she's not the enemy in the larger scale of things. She's only the enemy when it comes to Katniss's personal agenda, and I think they did a really good job making us sort of question whether our main character was actually the one we should be support. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like it was really interesting.
Yeah, I think so, especially because Katniss is so damaged in Mockingjay, and Coin is not, and Julianne Moore was so fantastic. I was raving about her once I got out of that because I thought she played that. She could have played it. It could have gone over the line, I think, of either you like her too much or she's too cartoony, and I thought she nailed it. Like, she got it so perfect, and I'm really excited to see how that develops in part 2.
Yeah.
Another great scene was District 8. I mean, the whole thing. Katniss shooting the video. If we burn you, burn with us. I got chills both times seeing that. That whole scene really is just so good. I mean, Katniss walking into the hospital and them that guy going, "Will you stand with us? Will you fight with us, Katniss?"
I hope that
my
guy
cinema laughed at that too, by the way.
Well,
they were like, "It's so cheesy."
Okay, so note to self: never watch a movie in Denmark because it sounds awful.
Yeah.
Laugh at everything.
I think the District 8 sequence was my favorite in the movie, and I really liked I can't remember her name, but the actress who played Commander Taylor, because she obviously comes back in part 2. I thought she was really good.
Every
in Snow's 8 person.
No, the commander of District 8.
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
When you every time one of the adult actors was on, Donald Sutherland, Woody Harrelson, Elizabeth Banks, Jeffrey Wright, every time they're on screen, I was just in heaven. They're such great actors. And that one
Seymour Hoffman.
Bill, what do you mean adult actors? Like, this is not a series that has like kid actors the way that Harry Potter and Twilight.
the older actors.
In story.
Yeah, but I
probably.
think
Yeah.
like Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson and
They're
etc.
supposed to
like
be playing
absolutely held their
17-year-olds.
own
Yeah.
compared to the old actors.
Well,
Like,
I didn't always feel that way, but I think that a lot of times I think it's because they're trying to be younger. You know what I mean? They're trying to be 17 or whatever. I think Katniss is 17, right?
I don't know. I know. It's just seeing the.
I agree with Andrew. I think that the
I mean, the
those guys.
caliber
Yeah.
is fantastic across the films, but I think like Jennifer Lawrence is, and maybe like we forget how great she is because we see her all the time now, or
And maybe
she's like the funny
with
girl in
other-
interviews.
Yeah, and maybe because she's like beside some of the best actors of all time.
Yeah, but I think what makes the film so compelling is that Jennifer Lawrence does such an amazing job. I wouldn't like to, underestimate her contribution. That's all.
No, I'm not
Agreed.
saying that. I'm saying these legendary actors
Yes, they are also very good.
for this film, like when BT's hunched over the computer, when Katniss is talking to President Snow, and he's like, come in, Mockingjay. I don't know, Mockingjay 1, something like that. So badass.
He's great. Yeah, he's amazing.
He's cool.
Love him. Okay, so worst scenes. My two major problems, and this was inevitable when you're splitting this book into two movies. They're gonna have to have things. They're gonna do things to fill time. The double reveal of District 12 was a perfect example of something.
Yeah, that they did that shot twice.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this again? And we get Gail needed to have this moment, but I don't think we needed to see it. And it's like the same exact shot. And the first time you see it, you're like, "What? Why are we doing this again?" Yeah. And then my other gripe was the scene at the very end, when Coin comes up to Katniss in the cafeteria, and they have that little chat. It was just this extra filler. The first time I saw the movie, I was just like, "All right, I'm officially feeling like this movie needs to end now." And then the next scene does. But were there any other scenes you guys felt didn't need to be in there, or were bad for other reasons?
I just felt like overall, I think it could have been like 20 minutes shorter.
Yeah.
It could have just been trimmed across.
It felt like it could be leaner. I thought the whole time. I was like, they could have done a little bit better.
And I don't mean to say that like a part one wasn't necessary. I think actually this film proves that it was a really good idea to split this movie, but I think they did stretch it out a little.
The interesting thing to me is that when you see both movies, like for Breaking Dawn or for Deathly Hallows, you look at it, the whole package, and you're like, wow, this really couldn't have been one movie. How, what would they have done if they were forced to make this one movie?
It would have been a very more action-oriented story, I think, for all of them.
Yeah.
I think it's a funny thing, splitting movies, because we always say that, they're just trying to get more money out of it, and I'm sure that's true. But at least the actual creative talent involved find a way to make it worth our time, by having the time to get to know these characters.
I really feel this is the first one that has proved that it needs to be two. When I watched Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2, I don't feel like it needs to be two films.
Oh, really?
And I think the reason...
That's the first time I didn't.
Well, I mean, it's not like I hate them or anything. I don't think it's necessary. And I think the difference is that with the Hunger Games series, the added scenes are so good and make sense for the story. And are necessary to complete the story, to make it, like Andrew was saying at the start, a full narrative. And like they've shown again and again in every film that they really know what they're doing with that. So,
and maybe I was thinking the same thing, like you were talking about Jennifer Lawrence being able to hold her own earlier, and I think it's actually the first thing I thought when I came out of the cinema was, if this had been almost anyone else, and it's not to say anything bad about the other young actresses in Hollywood, but if this had been almost anyone else, like spending 20-second shots looking at their face just wouldn't have been as interesting.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's just, and I've never been really, it's funny because I've never been on the Jennifer Lawrence craze really, because I think she's great, but I've seen the first few Hunger Games, I've seen the other movies she's been in, I'll be like, oh, she's good, yeah. But this one, it just occurred to me that there's something, like her Katniss is a Katniss that you want to spend time with, and when you see these scenes that you see an actor doing something, and then you see her looking at them, and then you cut to her perspective of them, and it's this really long exchange that could have been cut down, but because it's Jennifer Lawrence, you want to see what she sees, you want to see like those, like her expressions, you want all of that, and I think that Mockingjay took its time to give us that.
People who are watching our live stream right now are able to ask us questions using the Q&A button. We have a couple here right now. This is from Willow62442. Did any of you notice the scene where it was notable that Philip Seymour Hoffman was absent? I'm glad this question got brought up because I have to say it really shocked me how much he was in it, and not because
I was shocked too.
He died while filming, but they really added a lot of this character in, and this was this may have been a benefit of part one. Effie too, of course. She isn't in this part of the story at all, and they added her in, which I thought was probably one of the best decisions they could have made with this movie. Because the movie's so humdum, drabby, dark, and she just brought a lot of the comic relief and as much color as she could. But even Effie.
Yeah, she tried.
So did you? I don't think. I think he got all of his scenes in for part one. It sounds like it's going to be part two that's the problem.
Yeah, I definitely didn't notice him missing everything. I felt the same way, that I was surprised how much he was in it. Every time he popped up, I was like...
CGI'd into a couple of scenes because I was like, what? Like, how many scenes did they shoot with him? Just surprising.
Do you think he was?
No. I heard that they were unwilling, or that they wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Okay. I think Francis Lawrence, the director, says that he has there were two scenes, big scenes, that he still had to shoot. But I presume they're for part two.
Yeah.
I think he said they're going to just kind of shift things around a little bit so other people can say his lines.
Yeah.
I don't think it's critical, but yeah, they're not doing CGI.
Yeah, I thought he said he just didn't want to, do anything like that.
No, it wouldn't been. It would take people out of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, you would be able to notice that.
And his character is like not really crucial to part two anyway. So I don't think it would be difficult to rearrange things. It's really sad, but logistically straightforward.
While we're on the topic of questions, here's another one. Did everyone like the way it was split? This is from Carlos. I listened to spoilers. I guess he means the score or something. And it seems like a strange place.
Oh, he hasn't seen it yet. He's just listened to spoilers of Word Splits.
Oh.
But it's funny. When he jumps on her and the screen goes to black, and everyone, even in my cinema, my very skeptical cinema, went, and then there was silence. But then it came back, and I was so glad it came back because ending it on the cut would have been too much.
Yeah, I totally agree. I thought the added scene where they did end it was really. Was a really good decision on their part, because they would have just had the shock value if they had ended it right after when they cut to black, and it would have felt a little cheap, I think. And that last scene with Hutchison was so good. So yeah, I thought that was the perfect place.
And as I think I discussed with Marima, it was good. Like in the book, it's just that moment when Peeta attacks Katniss is just a blink and you miss it. It's like one line in the book. But then in the movie, they expanded it a little bit, which I thought they had to do.
A lot. That was like with her eyes and everything. That was insane.
Oh yeah, that was intense.
Mm-hmm.
One more question, and then we'll talk about the box office. Anne says, "Am I the only one who thinks this trilogy works better as movies than books?"
I kind of agree. I was thinking about this today, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree, and I think it's because of the added scenes and because. Like, Suzanne Collins is a fine writer, and the Hunger Games books are fine books, but they're not, like, the best books ever written. And there's something nice about the way that these movies are externalized and take you outside of Katniss and show you things that she can't show you in the books because they're from Katniss's perspective. I really appreciate that more and more with each film, I think.
Actually, I think that Hunger Games is probably one of the series that I felt work best both as a book and a film. Like there's no, like, I feel the book stands alone. Oh, that's rubbish. The book works and the movie works is what I'm trying to say. Like most books, you get an adaptation and it can be a great adaptation, you can have great acting, but it really is just a book on screen. But because the book is so confined to Katniss's headspace, and we get that sense of isolation and claustrophobia, and we sort of get frustrated with Katniss when we read the book because she's caring about all the wrong things. And then you get the movie, which, like you said, you get to see the other tributes, you get to see the other people involved with this, you get some other perspectives. But I think the book, like that claustrophobia of the book being in first person and experiencing it as it happens, is really, really good and really unique as well. So I like that. I wouldn't want to live without that.
I love the books as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to like hate on the books. I love. I'm like the biggest Hunger Games fan. I adore the Hunger Games books. But
it's like we've switched right now. It's weird.
Right. No, I think I would agree with you. Like they work as two separate mediums really well. Yeah. Like exclusively from each other.
But I think most people are going to agree that Mockingjay movie presumably is going to be much better than the book because many people did not like the book,
including me. Yeah.
When you have a good filmmaking team like this, they've obviously proven themselves, particularly with Catching Fire and now Mockingjay Part 1 to some extent. I think we're going to see a more concise story with Part 2 because a lot of people accused the ending of Part 2 or Mockingjay to being a little messy in the writing. So I think people are going to really. What they do. I think people are going to really like the second half of Mockingjay better on screen.
Yeah. Can I say one more thing before we move on, unless you wanted to? Absolutely. I was just going to address like it was a critical review that I read in the Guardian the other day that I thought it was interesting, and I just wanted to bring it up here. Which is that they didn't like the film. Like they gave the film 2 out of 5 stars because they said that the movie was too young adult because instead of focusing on the big war issues, it focused on Katniss's sort of selfish search for Peeta. And I just wanted to bring that up because I was wondering what you thought of that because I thought, I said this on Twitter too, I thought it was so stupid because it completely missed the point of having Katniss as the point of view character because Katniss is going to care about Peeta, but we know that other stuff is important as well, and that's why we have this interesting juxtaposition of not this hero rushing into battle and saving the world, but this very internalized character who's faced with all these things that are bigger than her. You know what I mean? Like, so I was just so mad at this review because it was just such a slap in the face to young adult.
Yeah, I'm like at the point right now where I can't even read reviews like that because I'm not interested in reading opinions of uninformed, elitist, like patronizing people who just look down on the genre or like, the area of young adult because it's something that maybe they don't see as important. And like you said, I think that totally misses the point of the entire series. So good job to that person. Really well done.
My other half, while supportive of YA, of course, did not like Mockingjay.
Ooh.
Part 1, because he thought that Peeta, or that Katniss was too focused on Peeta and thought it was.
That's what this review said as well.
Yeah, but like he of course likes YA, at least I think so, or we'd have major issues. He did not like the movie at all, and I was like, I think you need to reread the book because I think you're forgetting.
Like you're missing the point of yes, she does care more about Peeta, but we know that. Move on. That's not the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they did amp that up a little for the movie because they used that to form the narrative, like to make sure that it was a complete narrative, this search for Peeta, while still having a cliffhanger. So,
that was
I get it. If you're not like super into that, that makes sense. But I think it was necessary.
That is the point of this Part 1 film. That's the story here. And now that story is complete to some extent. And now Part 2 will be more about taking down President Snow.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, box office-wise, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I do want to say Mockingjay has the biggest opening weekend of 2014. However, not the biggest Hunger Games film. It's the smallest so far, and it probably will be, which is not too unexpected because that's just what happens with Part 1 films. People are less interested in seeing them because it's not the finale. And casual, I won't even say casual.
Was Potter that way? I can't remember.
I think it was. I think so.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, let us know. So I don't think it's a problem. I think Lionsgate probably expected it. It's certainly not gonna beat Part 2 box office wise. a lot of people are going to go see part 2, even if they're not really interested in the Hunger Games, just because they'll be curious to see how it ends.
Yep.
Part 1, obviously. Part 1,
Sorry.
obviously, like, oh, I got to go see part 1 because, there's no like killer reason to go unless
Right.
you're a fan of the movies.
A huge nerd.
Deathly Hallows Part 1 actually had the highest opening of all the films before the last film.
Oh,
Had
Oh.
125 million opening.
So there.
that J.K. Rowling.
Cash cow.
We've actually spent a lot of time on our thoughts, and we've spent 25 minutes on this. So maybe you just want to. Well, I'll skip. We had a little article on the site. We were asking people to leave some of their thoughts about Mockingjay. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll just skip those. You can check reviews online if you want, on Hypable if you want. I do want to mention, though, that Lionsgate announced a Hunger Games stage show coming to London in 2019. Where's my article about this? So they're building a special theater just for this stage show. It's going to be in London to start. Presumably, it's going to come over to America. I'm not sure why it's starting in London. It seems a bit strange to start over there. Let's see here. It's going to be produced by Broadway's Robin de la Vita, who has produced Broadway shows like Titanic, Footloose, The Music Man, 42nd Street, Into the Woods, Dracula, and on London's West End, where he's going to be working on this Hunger Games show, he produced The Who's Tommy, Chicago, West Side Story, and The Full Monty. He won a Tony Award for Titanic, Best Musical, 42nd Street, Best Revival, and Into the Woods, Best Revival. So, I don't know. What do you guys think of this?
Not into it.
Nope.
I really would like it to be like a martial arts kind of show where people are just like, "Grr!"
Yeah, well, how are they going to do any of this? It makes no sense to me. They're going to be very conceptual. Like, how are they going to go about it?
This is like another new trend in how do we expand these franchises. I mean, this has been around for a while with some movies. But, last year we learned that there's a Harry Potter one in the works. That one at least has new information. It's going to be Harry's years before Hogwarts. Just still weird to say.
Which is so sad.
But yeah, this one
lays with little things, toys.
I guess, the themes of rebellion and rising up against the government, like those themes will be very prominent over the next few years. So I guess it'll be interesting for people to see for that reason.
Right, but like aside from the recreation of Les Mis, like how are they going to do the entire other sections of the story?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't understand. And I also feel like all of these things, like this just feels like the theme park as well. Like it kind of it reduces it and it trivializes it, which goes against the entire message of the series.
Right.
So I wonder if these people have even read them. Or like read the Spark Notes or something, guys. Like it would be in the first sentence.
Well, that's why this series in particular is so fragile to play with, because anything that Lionsgate does is basically going against what you see in the story.
Right.
Yeah, they're being the capital more and more when they do this, and it's so ironic.
Yeah. I think you have to give them a little bit of leeway when it comes to things like merchandising because, that's just the world. But extra things like this feel ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I feel like
unnecessary.
When the first movie came out, before people really saw how big this franchise was going to be, it was weird to call yourself a fan because you're essentially saying, "Oh, I'm a fan of I love the Hunger Games." You're saying you're a fan of
I love killing children.
Killing other kids?
Yeah.
Of course, no. They're a fan of the story and what Katniss believes in. But still, it's kind of weird to say.
I should stop saying that then. I say that like 15 times a day.
No judgment here.
Yep.
By the way, this is the first time that this isn't the first expansion of the Hunger Games franchise. We also know that there's going to be a traveling exhibition that's going to launch in summer 2015.
But that makes more sense.
Yeah, like
Because Right. That makes total sense. That's like a behind-the-scenes thing. That's the exact kind of thing that they can do with this. But like stage show, theme park, things that expand narratively or try and translate it to different mediums in that sense don't work for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all we have to say now about Mockingjay. Part 2 is less than a year away.
Yay!
Yeah, it's ready. So
When is it coming out? The second one.
A year to the day. I think it's November 20th, 2015.
I'm already excited.
Well, yeah, the midnight box office on that and opening weekend will surely be huge. And I can't wait to see how they promote it, because the promotion, once again, for this film, the marketing, the posters, those teaser trailers with President Snow and PETA and Joanna, those were so good.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the worst moment when they filmed the propaganda thing and then they used their same like whistle thing with the logo that they use in their own promotional material.
Oh yeah,
I
it did.
like
I was like,
that.
it's
I
too
like
meta.
that.
No, it
I
was
like
too
it.
meta. I didn't like
Yeah,
it.
it was.
I thought
It's
it was.
a-
I liked it because it was meta.
I was like, what? You guys just couldn't be bothered designing one
It
more
like
end
broke
screen?
the fourth wall or whatever.
Yeah, it was a little too much for me.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
agree.
I liked it.
We're so used to seeing those posters. Marima has one right behind her on the wall.
Do I?
I thought it was.
Oh
a
yeah, I
naked
do
guy.
too. I'm gonna steal it while Kyle isn't here. Oh, there's another one over there. I'm gonna steal both.
Okay, so let's talk about the Jurassic World trailer.
Okay.
That was just released before we started recording, so people who are watching live probably maybe didn't get a chance to watch it yet. I didn't watch it yet either. I'm seeing some feedback on Twitter that it was very CGI heavy.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
dinosaurs.
it's a Jurassic
Dinosaurs.
film. What do you expect?
Because with Jurassic Park, a lot of them were animatronics, whereas these, some people seem to be working.
Right.
Like
That would look
Yoda all over
ridiculous.
That's not going to happen in this film.
Yeah.
Generation problem. You're all used to CGI. I just
Yeah.
follow older people. They're like, oh, give me back the animatronics.
No, I like animatronics and stuff like that, especially with like the Lord of the Rings films. I like the miniature sets and stuff. But with Jurassic World, it was always going to be CGI. So
Yeah.
So was it a good trailer?
I thought it
Yeah.
was pretty good.
I thought
Yeah.
it was good.
That was alright.
Chris Pratt plays a serious role. It looks, it'll be interesting to see what he does with that.
And it looks like
I hope
there's
he doesn't die. I couldn't take it. Just Chris Pratt.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I bet he dies in this. This is going to be awesome.
But then he can't do the sequels. So
Yeah. Then he won't die. He's
He
too
won't die.
Indiana Jonas.
Yeah, they want him for the sequel. Unless they do a prequel.
Nah.
Wait.
I follow I'm a theme park enthusiast.
This is your movie. It looks like you're just in a theme park.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, I follow Inside the Magic on Twitter, great theme park site, and they were pointing out some of the aspects that look like it's Disney World or
It does, yeah.
it looks like SeaWorld with a big
Mm.
tank. They even have like, magic bands, like the new things at Disney World. So yeah, I think I'll be excited for it. Looks good to me.
There's an awesome scene where they hold a great white shark as bait over a huge water tank. And
Yes.
I won't spoil it, but it gets eaten.
You just spoiled it. Damn
Yep.
it. No, it
So
looks really
that's
good.
Jurassic World. It comes out in June. I'm a big fan of the first Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a huge
I
fan.
saw the ones.
The
never
music was
saw
really
it.
good in the trailer.
Yeah.
I don't like Bryce Dallas Howard that much, just in general, but,
Not
I think
into.
she'll be okay.
I like her.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, what'd you say, Andrew? Sorry, I didn't hear.
Nothing. It wasn't worth it. So, in other trailer news, this one I think is definitely coming out on Friday. Star Wars: The Force Awakens. This is going to be an 88-second preview. Apparently, John Williams himself has scored some music for this trailer. It's going to first be screening at 30 theaters in the United States on Friday. I think I have this right, every movie in the theater on Friday.
Every movie, yeah.
Yep.
Actually, the whole weekend.
Okay, right. And then in December, it's going to be screening all around the world, in front of
Yeah.
you. Like,
Wait, I'll be in the United States on Friday. I can go and see this in a cinema. This is so exciting.
go to the Irvine one.
All right, let's
I
go.
mean, will it be possible to get a ticket? Like, how many people are gonna go see this? Do you think? like sold out lines, or no?
I don't think. Well, I mean, since it is across all movies, I think it shouldn't be too hard. If you
Yeah.
now you just buy your tickets online now, right? So
Yeah.
it's too hard.
Do you think that it's gonna be released online by like officially released online this weekend?
Yeah,
Or are they gonna wait?
Because here's the thing: every one of these theaters, people are going to be filming the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they don't release it, it's going to come out anyway.
That's what I
And
guess.
all these bad quality versions are going to be out there. Just be like,
They would rather, because that just reflects poorly on the film. I think they would rather have a high quality.
Which makes me wonder what's the point of putting this in front of theaters in front
Because
of.
it's exciting.
well, and there's tons of people that don't look online, surprisingly enough.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Crazy people who don't live on the internet.
People don't use the internet. Old people.
Right. What other movies are showing? Like movies for the pensioner crowd, and then Star Wars like plays in front of it. That's who they're
They
appealing
will
to.
remember it from
Yeah, exactly, from their youth.
and they'll be like, "You changed Yoda. He's CGI now."
Well, we're joking about it, but the first trailer for the first Star Wars movie.
Oh no, Yoda died. Sorry, I take that back. I'm a bad fan.
The first trailer for the first Star Wars movie, I don't know the details, so I apologize, but it's screened in front of a movie, like a particular movie, and it was a big deal. Some people are bringing this up yesterday because this thing that's happening this Friday kind of harkens back to that. So I guess that may be part of the reason why they're doing this. But so the trailer's got to be online Friday. It would just be crazy if it wasn't.
I also kind of feel like adults that might not know about the Star Wars, like older adults that don't know that they loved the films originally, but now they have kids and stuff. I feel like they might not know that there's even Star Wars movies being made.
How
and so
old?
I'm saying like pretty old, like in 60s, something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, I think they're trying to make sure that they don't miss out. Yeah.
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 I don't
That's
know if
true.
I'm more excited for the trailer or for new John Williams Star Wars music.
Probably John Williams.
Possibly. I'm pretty excited for the trailer, but John Williams.
Oh,
Is
man.
this the
I
trailer
just don't-
we already know
don't-
about?
Well, there was a description, and, we don't know
Yeah,
if
but
it's
is
true or
that-
not.
No.
Yeah.
Because that won't be very exciting.
Legit. So I mean, it's been a busy month for trailers. I guess it's because like the holiday films are coming up, so it's a good time to run your preview your movies. Pitch Perfect 2 trailer was also released. It starts with a great version of Cups. All the girls are singing it, and then we get some new footage. It looks really funny. I mean, it looks like more of the same, and that's not a problem.
Yeah.
So, but one thing it didn't clue us in on is what songs will be in Pitch Perfect 2. So
I think that's a good idea.
yeah, I guess, but I really want to know.
In my theater during the Mockingjay screening, I think more people were excited about seeing that trailer than they were at the movie.
Yeah.
Like people just screamed. Like there was a lot of women in my theater, and they just screamed like crazy.
I forgot to mention this at the end of my screening, or at the end of the.
I wanted to say on to you.
At the end of seeing it on Friday, some girl in the front goes, "That sucked." I don't know if it's because she was upset with what happened to PETA, or she just didn't like the movie. I don't know, but
Wow.
we were like crying, laughing after PETA got beat up.
Well, when the first blackout happened in my screening, everybody went, no, like, oh, and then when it finally ended, like one person clapped, and then everybody else laughed. And I was
That's
like,
cute.
It was just one like.
yeah, it was like one clap, and like one other friend clapped, and then no one else did. And it was
My
like,
mother always does that when I go to the cinema with her. It's so embarrassing.
Claps.
It's like, and no one else does it.
Oh.
It's funny. But I had those noisy
your
girls.
mom yells,
at 14.
this sucked at the theater?
No.
It's so rude.
But no, those 14-year-old girls sitting behind me who were chatting the whole movie, and when we left, they were like, "Oh,
I had
this is
some.
so stupid." But I think they just didn't get it. Like, I think they were too small and stupid.
I had some
You
younger.
ruined the film for me. I'm so
Are we
mad.
talking about Mockingjay or the Pitch Perfect trailer? now?
Mockingjay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
not the movie.
I
I
had
was
a
like,
similar
they didn't get
experience.
it? What's to get?
They singing? What?
It was
Yeah.
packed. Were your theaters super packed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your similar experience, Josh?
Oh, that when I said when it went to black, and, like everybody moaned, and then when it went to black, like the one person clapped, and everybody else laughed. I was just saying, it was just funny that nobody else clapped and they just laughed at him.
So there's another trailer, Cinderella. This is the movie starring Lily James. It's gonna be a live-action princess movie. It looks fine, but the entire plot of the movie is in this trailer. It's like the whole thing.
Yeah, but we had this conversation. The plot of Cinderella is not secret. Everyone in the world knows the plot of Cinderella.
But it's so stupid that they didn't change anything. Or
maybe they will. They won't.
Maybe no, they won't. But yeah.
During Maleficent had a big change.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
yeah, Cinderella, since like
But Maleficent wasn't Sleeping Beauty. Wasn't a Sleeping Beauty trailer.
yeah, and the whole marketing push behind Maleficent was, you know.
Right. I mean, I'm not going to see Cinderella. I don't know why I'm arguing with you about this. It looks terrible, but
It just looks so formulaic, like you
looks
said.
bland.
Andrew. It's so yeah.
The most bizarre part was seeing Helena Bonham Carter not dressed like a creepy old
Yeah,
woman.
looking beautiful.
Right.
I wasn't used to that. It's like, this is jarring. This takes me out of the film.
Yeah.
Now I have to go watch Sweeney Todd to cleanse myself.
Or
Kate
any other
Blanchett's a
movie that she's
bitch.
never been in.
Or
Unusual.
okay, so that was Cinderella, and okay, this one, the Insurgent teaser trailer was released a few weeks ago. Actually, this is our first real look at Divergent, the Divergent sequel directed by Robert Schwentek, and it was bizarre on all counts. But it is CGI heavy. It's a scene that sort of happens in the book, but not really. It's one of those sequences that takes place in Triss's mind.
Simulations.
Simulation, yeah, like yeah,
Simulation.
yeah, one of those types of things. And just the problem with it is the casual viewers, I think even fans, they don't know what this is.
No, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Trying too hard. It's one of these damn trailers that once again says everything will change. Why is it that to market a movie we have to tell? It says right in the trailer, the title cards say nothing will ever be the same or some grandiose statement like that. I'm playing it again right now. But it's like, why? Does this really sell a movie these days? Telling people that the entire world is going to change?
But what's so dumb is that they make us care, like they spend the whole trailer making us care about a character who A, is already dead, and B, like, is only probably in the movie the scene.
Yeah.
So it's so dumb.
It says, this spring, the world will never, and then be the same.
What?
Oh God.
It'd be funny if it was like, the world will be
CGI fire
exactly the same.
everywhere.
If the world changed because of an Insurgent movie, like, I'm done. I quit.
Look, I like this series. I like this fandom. I thought Divergent was a really good movie, but I'm nervous about this sequel. I wrote a piece after this trailer came out, recycling some comments. I interviewed the director of Divergent, Neil Berger, when Divergent came out. And I said to him, because at that point we had already known that he wasn't going to be directing Divergent. So I said, what is your advice for the Insurgent director? And at that time we already knew it was Robert Schwentek. And he said, keep it real. And he was talking about the fact that they shot in Chicago, they didn't do much CGI. He said there are too many sci-fi films that rely heavily on CGI. And then you just look at this trailer and it's just nothing but CGI, and it's just confusing.
The only thing real is the actors.
I think they're just trying to. The point of this was to intrigue, but it just confused.
Yeah.
And it didn't look good
It looked
either.
strange. Yeah, it looked
really
like the CGI
fake.
was bad.
Yeah, and I guess that's probably the point in the film. It's meant to look fake, but
Meant
out of
to look-
context, it just looks like it's poorly made.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I'm not giving up on the movie yet. I don't think this. I think we started on the wrong
Do you
foot.
think
Yeah.
this scene will be in the film? I wonder if it'll be in the film.
That would be really funny.
Yeah. What if this is like that viral marketing?
That's what I'm saying, because it's so jarring and so bad. Like, I just don't know if it'll be in the film.
That's a good point. Maybe
Yeah.
nobody realizes this. That this is just some viral marketing. It's like
That
I
makes
thought
it
it
even
was.
worse.
Yeah.
That makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Because then, like, they could have done anything. If this isn't even a scene from the film, like, they could have done anything.
When
And
I
they did this.
first saw it, I just thought they made this like as promotion because it just looked like such a bizarre CGI fest. It was like,
It'd be really funny if they just released these like shorts that are completely nonsensical and stupid. Like she's battling dinosaurs in one, and she's like on Mars in the next
she's in the
one.
Jurassic World trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This doesn't inspire
Look at
confidence.
Shailene Woodley.
the next trailer, she's battling stormtroopers.
I'd watch that one.
Well, the movie comes out in March, so we only have about 4 months to go.
Oh, wow. It's coming up. The one movie that's actually coming out soon, other than all the rest of these.
Yeah. Well, Cinderella comes out in March too.
Oh yay.
Some
Like
super
all this news comes out, and then like movies aren't coming out for a year and a half or something.
yeah, like
Or
Star
2
Wars
years.
is still a year
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
We found out that Wonder Woman is going to be directed by Michelle MacLaren.
People aren't nearly excited enough about this. She's
Oh,
an incredible,
Who is
incredibly
she?
talented person. She's like directed on Breaking Bad and
Thrones?
Game of Thrones and all the like. She's done some incredible writing and directing and producing as well.
And
Awesome.
it's a big deal. Her skill set aside, or that resume aside, this is of course going to be the first female superhero
Oh
movie
yeah.
discussed before. And then Warner Brothers did make it a priority, after all, to have a female direct this, which is really good. And she seems like the perfect choice. Everybody who knows her seems to be super excited about it. So
Yeah. No, and I think her being a woman isn't even the main thing. I think it's that she's incredibly talented, and now she's going to get the spotlight. You know, television directors and producers and writers especially don't always get the recognition that like film directors do. So I think that with her becoming
Especially TV directors, yeah, they
That's what
don't
I'm
get
saying.
anything.
like now that she'll be a big like Wonder Woman's director, I think everybody's gonna be like, wow, she's great.
Yes, but the fact
If
that
she's
she's a
great.
woman is also exciting and important.
Oh yeah. I just don't want to take away from that she's been so great on these other shows too.
I think she's a fantastic director, but
Yeah.
like, we shouldn't understate. Like, it's a big deal that they're allowing a woman to direct
No, I
one of these
wrote an article
huge
about her,
movies.
about the Wonder Woman having a female director. So I think it's great.
little Fantastic Beast news, a teeny tiny bit of Fantastic Beast news. David
Mhm.
now confirms that J.K. Rowling's script is complete for Fantastic Beasts. So there's not much else to say other than he says it's wonderful. So I guess that's good. I'm glad he didn't go.
It'd be funny if it was like it sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really
Gotta
bad.
rewrite
guys.
this.
Not as good.
Maybe sucks. I'm out.
Yeah, because this is her first screenplay, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, the other interesting thing that he said actually is that they start filming next year, which I guess could have been assumed, but now it feels really real.
It's
And
so
it's happening.
exciting.
It's happening.
This
This
also
is exciting. Come on.
It is exciting.
it means they're going to be casting Newt soon. I
Exactly.
have to come first. And then the supporting actors, which are going to be particularly interesting because we're going to finally hear more about what this story actually is.
Yeah, what characters are actually going to be in it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, imagine if we find out that like Dumbledore is in it or Grindelwald. People are going to lose their shit. It's going to be really exciting.
I don't want any of them to be in it. Don't ruin this for me. I'm so
so
excited for Fantastic
torn.
Beasts. Don't
When
bring
I-
anyone else.
I
When
would
I
love
grew-
a Dumbledore cameo. I'm not going to
No.
lie.
Well,
Yeah.
Maybe like young Dumbledore, played by
It
someone
wouldn't
else.
surprise me.
Oh, I think they'll definitely do it,
Yeah.
but I don't want them to.
Just like a young Dumbledore cameo who walks by the screen, he's like, I'm Albus. And then he like walks off.
I'm
He's so
Elvis.
Not Elvis.
Oh, Albus. I was like, what?
Yeah, that would also be funny.
I think
Lovely.
they'll want to do something to connect it fairly directly with Harry
Yeah.
Potter.
And I think
Yeah.
style-wise, it'll probably look a lot similar.
Yeah, I just mean like, similar to what they did in The Hobbit, where they
Yeah.
have Frodo reading the story.
Oh, yeah.
And, they can put that
Yeah,
in all the promotional
That was
material.
one thing that worked well in The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Was linking them like that.
hmm
Hypable writer Kristen did this great article. I feel like we plugged this recently, maybe not. But she found 5 Harry Potter characters that we could conceivably see in Fantastic Beasts because of their age. Dumbledore, Mr. Ollivander, Bathilda Bagshot, Annie Merle, and Professor Bit. So, like, out of those, I would say Dumbledore probably has...
How about Ollivander? I think Ollivander is for sure, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they could use Ollivander, but they're going to want to put one big character who people actually recognize in this film.
They could do like a Harry's grandfather or something.
They're going to want to like start it off with Dumbledore like looking in his pensive and being like, oh, like remember this story, and then like fade, Wayne's World style, and then flashback to Newt. Yeah. It's going to be something really bad like that.
Or a character time travels.
And that's the entire plot of the movie.
Yep.
Trying too hard.
Oh.
Why aren't we writing this, Selena?
Yes, I know.
Let's write the parody version.
Your screenplay before the real one.
Ron Weasley is Newt Scamander in the past.
I was thinking about this yesterday while I was writing this David Heyman article. It would be so great if the Fantastic Beasts script leaks. I would love to read it before the movie comes out.
Yes, please.
That happens, right? Because it happens.
They could forget it in Starbucks, sure.
Or in the back of a taxi. Didn't that happen one time with something?
Yeah, it did. I think was that Twilight?
I don't know.
Doctor Who? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was a Doctor Who script.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Twilight. Why would I know that?
In the Hobbit news, Marima was very sad to hear Billy Boyd sing "The Last Goodbye." I
haven't heard it yet.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I didn't listen either.
So it's Selena, right?
What? No, I don't want to know. I don't want to hear it until I see it. I'm gonna cry so much.
So
you watch this music video.
Oh.
Well, his song from The Return of the King was just awesome. So I imagine this is probably good too.
It's so good.
But I didn't want to listen because I felt like when I watched the movie, I would just be seeing like him in this video, and so I was like,
well, the music video has a lot of scenes from Lord of the Rings, in
does
it,
it?
Which is why it's really sad because it's like
he has a super sad voice.
It's a really great song, but I understand if you don't want to listen to
emotional.
Listen to it like
that's what I meant, not like, yeah. He's a very emotional singing voice.
This was a really good idea to bring him back to do this.
Yeah, I'm glad they did it. Yeah, they must still have a relationship, which is cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Glee is moving to Fridays. I don't think there's much to talk about with that, though, especially with this group of people.
Is that show still on?
Delete.
Game of Thrones. Charles Dance said in a recent interview that Game of Thrones may end with a movie.
He's old.
How is it even gonna end?
Yeah.
Like, how? I don't understand. Like, I cannot see them either revealing the plot of the books or going in a different direction. I can't see either of these things happening.
Yeah, me either.
Well, so would the movie just have to wait until George R.R. Martin is done?
Well, they'd have to wait like 20 years. Like, they're kind of super slow. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, that's the thing. I don't know, because whatever they do, they're going to get outrage from fans. And maybe they don't care. Maybe at this point they're just like, we're just going to do whatever we want. But because, if they reveal the plot of the books, that's going to make people extremely upset. And if they don't, then people are going to be like, why is this? What is happening? They're veering off like this. And if they don't tell us, then we're going to be, no matter what, it seems like they're going to lose.
I totally agree, but didn't they say recently that like they weren't going to wait for Martin, which I agree with you, I think is a poor decision, but then at the same time, like, what else can they do? Because they can't just like hold off on making any...
Like, I don't know, like...
I mean, and get the same actors back and have them look the same.
But I guess that's why, like, the TV show really is a completely different animal at this point, and to some extent bigger than the books. That makes me sound like I don't really want to say that too loudly, but I guess that's
I think that's it.
They have a responsibility to finish the story they started, and they have all these high-profile actors,
So what would you prefer? That they spoil the series, or that they do something different? Or that they do one and you don't know? You don't know which it is?
Oh. No, I think I prefer they do something different and I know, because if I don't know, then when I start reading the last book, I'll be like, oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah.
But I also feel like they could, and if they do an alternative ending, because I feel like in George R. R. Martin's, like everyone's just gonna die and the world's gonna collapse in a
Yeah.
fire and ice. So maybe like the TV show could end in a positive way, and we could have both.
Yeah.
Positive. Yeah,
I
right.
think I would prefer something like a different ending, because otherwise you kind of feel like, what's the point of waiting? And people are going to get mad. They're like, what's the point of waiting if you know how it ends? Especially if you're going to be waiting like another 40 years.
Exactly. And let's face it, those books are so long.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna start watching one day. That's all.
You'll have time to catch up while they take a 20-year hiatus for him to finish.
In 10 years.
They recast the entire thing, or they all come back like 20 years older, and you just have to pretend that they look the same.
Oh, in 20 years, they can CGI them all.
They'll all
be not a problem.
They'll all be CGI.
Yeah.
Actors will no longer exist.
Yeah.
I would love to see how well a Game of Thrones movie would do in theaters.
I would love to see one, but then at the same time, like, I feel like the TV show has proven that it's kind of impossible, because they need the time. They need the 10 hours.
Yep.
Or they split the movie into 3 parts.
Into 10 parts.
Oh God.
Let's be real. That's
So over parts.
And then they
Yeah.
won't finish until George R. R. Martin is done anyway.
That's true. That's true.
what I've been thinking of writing lately. An article about how soon until they split not just the last book, but other
Every
books.
All
book.
the books. Mm.
Gotta come at some point. I'm thinking the next big franchise, whatever that is. It's gotta happen.
Did you hear that they're doing the King Arthur, like a new King Arthur movie, 7 movies or 6 movies, something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
could split Cinderella into 2 parts.
in a way, this has already happened with The Hobbit because it was just 1 book and they turned it into 3.
Yes. And that was a terrible decision.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I've changed my mind.
I am excited for the last Hobbit movie.
I want to see the last one, but I'm not expecting much. Hopefully it's good.
I was pleasantly surprised by the trailer. It made me excited for it.
It looked good. Yeah. It looks like a CGI fest. Now that's a CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
That's so
Jurassic World. Jurassic World looks fun.
Yeah.
One other piece of news today to discuss. This, like we said at the start of the show, just broke as we were starting to record. Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman are about to shoot a Sherlock special. We don't know what it is exactly, but they released a photo from the table read today, and Benedict and Martin are wearing top hats, and Watson is sporting a mustache. Somebody suggested this could be time travel.
No.
No.
Like, you don't think it will, or God, that'll be so stupid?
I don't think it will, and
they
it would
will.
also be ridiculous.
Well, whatever this is, Martin Freeman has described it as mouth-watering, and it's supposed to air around Christmas next year. And it was written by Mark Guest and Stephen Moffat, so it'll probably be nice and confusing.
Yay, and sexist. Don't forget sexist. Yes, accurate.
Sexist. So yeah, nothing to say about that. I guess.
We don't know anything about it yet. Like, what can we say
it's
about
like-
it?
Like a year away.
I
I
think travel's a good guess.
they're
I
not
don't
gonna.
know. They're probably just like going to the theater or something.
Yeah, or like in disguise at like a
Yeah.
costume party or something.
Mhm.
It'll be-
All right.
I don't think they're going to. People want it to be time travel or sci-fi because people want a crossover with Sherlock and Doctor Who. But I feel like, as possibly entertaining as that would be, it's never going to happen unless they do it for like a comic relief special or something.
Well, this is a special of some sort, but okay. Well, enough
I think
about
that's Benedict pointing at. He's like, "Look, there's my career going much better than yours, Martin."
Look, there's another poster for The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a dragon again.
They're getting dressed up to see for the premiere.
Yeah.
Wear that exact outfit to the premiere. Played. Okay, so to wrap up the show today, I just want to talk about a couple things that are coming up on Hypable in December. Marima is organizing a slew of great content. We're going to do a bunch of end-of-year stuff, right? We're also going to look back at Tolkien.
Yay! Retrospectives are super fun.
I'm really excited because we're going to do some articles about what could be next for the Lord of the Rings fandom. We're going to do some fun articles for the end of the year, like things we don't want to hear in 2015, things we do want to hear in 2015.
Yep. We have a lot of preview articles for what's coming up in 2015, as well as looking back at 2014, and there'll be some serious things and some ridiculous things, so we've got you covered.
Cool. So I hope everybody here in the United States has a nice Thanksgiving.
Oh, nice Thanksgiving, guys.
Marima, will this be your first Thanksgiving in America?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
My hopes are high, but I'm vegetarian, so I'm not sure how that's going to work.
You can have like tofu turkey, right?
Yeah, friends taught me that exists.
Turkey's not great anyway, so you're not missing it.
It's not. It's dry.
Yeah, exactly.
I eat the ham instead.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. As always, you can sound off on what we had to say on today's episode by visiting the article announcing this episode on Hypable, and of course, there's links to everything we had to say. We were talking about all around Hypable, and I think that's it. I'm Andrew Sims.
I'm Josh Neely.
I'm Marima White.
And I'm Selena Wilkin.
See everybody next time for episode 39. Goodbye.
Bye.
I never know when to say my name.
I just say it as quick as possible.